Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Bill English. I'm investigator-in-charge with the NTSB from Washington. Today, our team started early. We started up 8 o'clock this morning to begin documenting the wreckage here as soon as the rain ended. Our team started up on the runway in order to get that cleared off first. We documented the witness marks, gouges, scrapes, etc. that were on the pavement of the runway, working our way from the southern side along the path of the aircraft. Built a drone map of the runway and other witness marks in the grassy area alongside from the aircraft initial impact mark. Aircraft initial impact mark was about 340 feet from the runway threshold, and leading up to we went all the way up with the mapping to the resting place of the main wreckage, the fuselage, in the ravine, if you will, off the side of the hill, the side of the runway, which is about 650 feet further along on a heading or a course about 40 degrees to the left of the runway heading. And we documented all the intervening marks between there, including the wing and the other wreckage that was in the grassy area. Our team worked on recovery of the wreckage that was in that area, along with the recovery contractor and the National Guard. Removed the wing, the left main gear, and the other small wreckage that was in the grass. That was finished by about noon, and the runway reopened for traffic at that time. Meanwhile, the operations group was requesting and received some of the material on the company from the aircraft operator, from air cargo carriers. They're beginning to build the history on the pilots, the 72-hour history, the training history on the pilots, etc. We also got an initial look at some of the ATC data, some radar and ATC voice data. We just got that in hand a little while ago and can start putting that together to piece together the sequence of events of the flight. Meanwhile, as that was going on, the airworthiness group, once finished up on the runway side, moved down the hill to work on the wreckage down the hill. It's in a very thick wooded area. It's low brush, but very tangled, hard to get at, and also very muddy in there, very slippery clay type of mud. So it's very slow going, but we have access to the aircraft, can get into the cockpit. The cockpit has begun being documented, checking out all the instruments, the controls, and then the rest of the aircraft that are down in that ravine. All the major components of the aircraft have been accounted for. So everything was either located up on the grassy area or is down in the ravine. It will just take some time to remove it. I don't remember if I briefed you folks on this yesterday or not, but this aircraft is not equipped with black boxes, flight data recorder, or CVR. It's not required to by the regulations. And our initial information is that there are no other electronic devices on board that record any significant information on here. We'll keep looking for any other electronics that might be in there, but there are no FDR CVR. The cargo has been offloaded from the aircraft. As of just a little while ago, it's off the aircraft. That'll get moved to a facility to get weighed and documented, and then returned to the freight forwarder so that can go on to its ultimate destination if it's in such a shape. Our plan for the next few days, finish the documentation of the aircraft and begin the recovery of the aircraft from the woods. As I mentioned, it's going to be quite a difficult process. It's very difficult to get in there with it's just dirt roads, very slippery mud to get up in there, and to get the heavy equipment working to get the airplane out. They're starting to do that process now. I've got a couple of different options to get that out. And meanwhile, the operations side will continue to build the history with the pilots and the other data. That concludes my briefing here, and I think that will be my last briefing here on scene in Charleston. I do appreciate everyone's hospitality and support to our team working here. We'll have a little bit more time on scene, and I do look forward to continue working with the Airport Authority and all the other responders and other folks here in Charleston. It's been an excellent experience for us, even though a tragic event, of course. All of future briefings from now will come from the NTSB Office of Media Relations. Peter, who introduced me, will be your contact for that. I've got time for a few questions.
You say the aircraft struck 340 feet before the start of the runway, or I'm not sure.
It's 340 feet after the start of the runway,
After
so
the start
beyond
of the
the runway threshold.
Yesterday you said you thought you'd be here for 3 to 4 days. That's pretty much still on par.
That sounds about right, yes, sir.
Is that 340 feet, would that be early for this type of aircraft, or can you tell that?
We'll still have to analyze some things about the motion of the aircraft. The witness mark that we first see is beyond the landing threshold, so it's in the area that airplanes land. So beyond that, we're going to have to fine tune some things. Okay. All right. If nothing else, thank you very much for your attention. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I hit you for one minute? Can you kind of describe the plane and its certain? You know, we haven't been down there. You can't see it from the bottom of the hill,
No.
and we can't really see it from the top of the hill when we were allowed to be over. Can you kind of describe the scene where the main fuselage is?
Okay. Oh, sure. It's pretty steep hillside coming down from the runway. The airplane itself, the main fuselage and tail and the right wing are all together. It's about 100 feet down the slope from the runway in a little bit of a hollow of trees. The aircraft is aligned as you climb up the hill. If you were looking at the runway, the forward part of the aircraft would be pointing back down towards you downhill. It's laying on its left side with the right wing folded over the top, and then the tail. Some parts of the stabilizer are broken off, but close to the fuselage in that area. So rotated mostly to the right and folded over, and then the wing folded over on top of it.
When you move the wing itself today, did anything seem abnormal to you about it, like the position of the flaps or anything like that?
We documented the position of everything in there, the control surfaces, flaps, and aileron, and the connections in there. As far as abnormal or not, that would be analytical, and we'll be working on that as we go forward.
Is there a timeline for your preliminary report? Do you guys still file like a preliminary report after a couple of weeks?
Yeah, we should have some sort of preliminary information up on our website in within a month, very brief something, and then the process will go forward from there. We'll open a public docket, and then that'll lead to the final report later on down the road.
And you say that 650-foot figure, was that from the initial point of impact or from the threshold of the runway?
Correct, sir. From the initial point of impact to the final resting spot is 650 feet in a straight line, but the aircraft path is a slight curve from that. So, nothing else? Thank you very much.